Hello guys, here is Milos and I will explain in next 10-15 minutes session about Brexit, what happens if the United Kingdom leaves the Eurozone, what will happen with pounds pairs rate Great Britain pound USD, Euro Great Britain pound and Great Britain pound JPY. For those analysts I use naked charts with simple moving average 20 red line, simple moving average green line 50 and simple moving average 100 blue line. The same as Euro Great Britain pound 20 moving average, 50 moving average and 120 moving average. As you can see, and Great Britain pound JPY red line 20, green line 50 and 100 blue line. As you can see, it is a very problem about Brexit referendum. It will be held 23rd June the next week on Thursday, and suppose lots of news with combination and traders watching out just cautious and they concern about further economy of United Kingdom and so on. As it can see, we have a very drop in prices here. We can use 1 hourly charts for all three assets and just try to remind the following. If UK leaves Eurozone, Great Britain pound will drops. It can cause a shocks on UK economy and market crashed. What will happen? It happened that as you can see about the news for morning news about Brexit, for example, Great Britain pound rose against US dollars almost 1%, same as drop it euro drop it against pounds almost 0.50%, and Japanese yen also rise. Great Britain pound JP also rise 1%. But if it happened, if United Kingdom leaves the Eurozone, we can expect the following. All Great Britain pound will be crushed. It is possible that pound can be lost 30% of its value against Forex Major 1 and Forex Major 2, or also Forex crosses. So maybe it is possible, for example, that Great Britain pound USD could be dropped for level 110, maybe 120, and maybe Euro Great Britain pound will be equal to 0, 1, and Great Britain pound JPY could be drop about 110, 115, and so on. From the other hand, if they decided to leave the Eurozone, we can expect the next or the following. Gold will be risen. Also, you have to watch about two currency pairs, American dollar and Swiss franc. It can be expected that the US dollar could be stronger, and also Swiss francs could stronger also. What about euro? We can see that all economies are connected, and as you can see, we can find the solution that it is possible that euro also drop against US dollar, against yen and Swiss franc, and investor will cautious and they try to invest more money in oil, gold, silver, and less than stocks. Also, if British pound could drop after UK leaves the eurozone. London's stocks indices FTSE 100 would drop also. German DAX, French CAC 400 could drop also against example SP 500, Nasdaq and Dow Jones could rise. And what is important, how it can be influenced on the markets. If it happens in opposite direction, if the eurozone um, will be unchanged, it includes that UK will stay in eurozone, we have opposite direction, pound would rise against US dollar, yen, maybe in euro. Also, euro could rise against US dollar. We could expect lower US dollar and so on. But it is very complex and very important stuff. Just we're concerned about basic economics and try to explain that there is some agreement between Frankfurt, the stock exchange, and London Stock Exchange. They will be united at once, and we completely could understand about concern about movement of capital from UK to Eurozone or from the United States. Because if United Kingdom leaves the Eurozone, there is some problem about big companies and some rulings and some causes and clauses and some restrictions, and there will be a big confusions on the financial markets and maybe could crash some shocks in stocks or indices or so on. How it can be influenced on the binary options traders? Okay, we should be very careful during trading during a referendum and try to avoid to trade with UK pairs or pounds pairs, like I mentioned these ones, and it needs to be very careful and see we have a big jump in prices, and as you can see we could not be completely sure what will happen in this one or this one situation. And for example, if we can use on option trader on weekly basis from those, well, all situation we can see call option from yesterday when all moving average cross, and we can see that 20 SMA moving average crosses against this situation, and we can see for example call option written pound 141.70, for example call option. The same as we have some situation for opposite direction euro Great Britain pound. For example, in those situation we have the same position, we can use a put option below 0.79 300 for weekly basis. If we can trade on Great Britain pound JPY, just basic stuff, for example, we can use for known situation as we think call option above 147.50, and for example put option below 150. The on if we can use on weekly basis, and we can use a week time frame expiry. And I think if we can use the other stuff, we can very consolidation, and we have to try to adopt of market condition, and in this situation it is very important that we try to avoid short time frame expiry and avoid news, because as you can see this is a big jump or drops in prices, and so far we can see on weekly basis, for example Great Britain pound try to break 143, and consolidation for euro, Great Britain, pound about level 0.78600. And so far, if we can Great Britain, pound, JPY 150, 150, 60 is the top, and the peak is 145. So we can spread about 5% lost its value. So my advice is in early date on this position to avoid to trade uh, situation and try to avoid the news about Brexit. And if you want to trade, trust the others assets for trading, and choose to Euro, USD Japanese yen, and avoid Great Britain pound USD, Euro, Great Britain pound JPY, also crosses Great Britain pound Swiss franc, Great Britain pound Australian dollar, Great Britain pound Canadian dollar, Great Britain pound New Zealand dollar, and so on. And we could expect also the following, and I have no any news or economic statistical events about what will happen after the referendum, but as we can see, I do not mention market research in what percentages to stay or what percentage to leave, and that's researching depends from day to day, and as we can see, I will try to explain about for Great Britain pound we can use 4 charts, or if we can see a daily charts from those levels, we see that the pound has lost almost 7% in June from those level. It's about referendum, see, almost 7%. If we can use euro, Great Britain pound, we can use also daily charts, just to mention from those level. Euro rose 4%. If we can use on daily charts Great Britain pound JPY, just to mention how much percentage it lost, just wait a second to update the charts, and as we can see, this is a really mess. See, from June almost 20%, 20 percentage Great Britain pound lost, and now it's about 70 percentage beginning of June. See, 163.80 and drops to 100 for almost 80%. That will happen a big dump and big market crash if the UK leaves the Eurozone. Okay folks, that's all so far, and I think I will provide the next video maybe one day before referendum, and see what the price movements, and try to provide better analysis. Thank you for all gains, and watch the video, share and like. Thank you.